If the next 40 years looked exactly like your last 4 weeks and you're about to take your final breath, would you feel proud or happy that it's finally over? Why is it that you're always busy, even highly productive, and still falling behind? Unfortunately for many, this is a question that gets answered far too late. But I'm glad that you have an opportunity now. Today, we're going to explore why you can be constantly busy, even highly productive, and still feel like you're falling behind, and what you can do to change this. Hey everyone, I'm Lakan, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm a manager in Big Four Consulting, a successful property investor, and somehow managed to keep a decade-long relationship strong. But actually, I'm just a guy, passionate about living our best lives today, and an even better one tomorrow. So what is being busy versus being productive? Being busy is doing a lot, but going in circles. No real progress. This happens when you react to life, prioritizing what is urgent instead of what is important. Hence, you find yourself in this kind of like a time loop where no matter how much you do, you just can't seem to succeed. Being productive, on the other hand, has been positioned as the solution to the busyness trap, where you are no longer stuck but actually moving in a direction. You start being proactive, not just reacting to whatever is urgent, but prioritizing tasks to move you towards an objective or goal. Yet there are so many of us that are still highly productive and still feel like we're falling behind. Here's what no one talks about. Most people move from being busy to being productive, which is great, but there's another step that one needs to take to make meaningful progress, which is being purposeful. This may sound fluffy, but it's not. Let me explain it to you using this evolutionary analogy. If being purposeful is human, being productive is like a chimp and being busy is like a monkey. Unfortunately, there's so much of advice on how to stop being a monkey but become a chimp. Are you a high-performing chimp? I mean, it's fine. I was that not too long ago. So what do I mean by being more purposeful? It means that you do things with intention. Things that matter to you, not just because you're good at it, but because it's aligned to your true north. It's when your time and energy serve your purpose instead of an extrinsically motivated goal. If you're enjoying this video thus far, I highly recommend that you watch my previous video on the arrival fallacy. That will provide you with a lot more context to better understand this. Another way to look at these concepts is that busyness is subjective. It's how you feel and look. Productive is objective, based on the results you see. But purposeful is a combination of both, aligned to outcomes that create real value. So despite being very busy and even highly productive, you can still feel like you're lost and falling behind. Others may criticize you and say that you're just not putting in enough work and you just need to grind more. Now, this may be a reality for some of you, but if you're watching this video, it's likely that you're not lazy, you're just productive in the wrong direction. Therefore, it's important that you have a clear vision of your ultimate destination, your true north. Where do you want to be the moment you take your final breath? And I'm saying this philosophically. Please don't imagine yourself on your deathbed, or maybe you could. But even if the path is unclear, make sure that you know where you truly want to end up. Some may argue that vision changes. Your vision can evolve, it can become more clear. But if it keeps changing, then it's likely that you're still visualizing using extrinsic motivations. Essentially, you are seeing through someone else's vision instead of your own. And maybe I've got you questioning whether you are doing purposeful work. And I mean what is purposeful to you, not to others. I, for one, can no longer be convinced to go above and beyond for a fancier title and salary. There needs to be more. So let me ask you this question. If you were fired today without warning, explanation, or severance, would you continue doing the same job? And not because you're good at it, but because it's something you are passionate about and that you find purpose in doing. If not, then you're likely not doing purposeful work. And that's okay for now, but it's important that you find a way to do so. I'm not saying quit your job. That will be very foolish and extremely irresponsible. But I am saying that in the 168 hours we have in a week, find time to do the work that you love. Let me know in the comments below if you are busy, productive, or purposeful. Again, purposeful is not doing more tasks. It's doing the right tasks in the right order for the right reasons. Intentionality. Before we dive into how we can be more purposeful, I want to answer this question. Why don't we live with purpose and intention, even when we deep down know we should? We've all experienced this, even at an intuitive level, where what you are doing just doesn't feel right. Like you're doing what you're supposed to do, but something's missing, something more, something deeper. Yet we suppress these feelings and intuition and accept mediocrity and comfort, a disease that infects our lives without us even knowing. We convince ourselves that it's okay, that you're just being too harsh on yourself, or you need to be more kinder. We've all come across those videos where if you have these 5 things, you're doing better than you think. And it's the most rudimentary stuff. Like, yes, having a roof over my head, food on the dinner table, and the warmth of a loved one. It's important. But if you know that at some level there's more for you, you should lean into that with purpose and intent. Really go for it. Then we also allow ourselves to get consumed by the rut of the artificial world around us. Just being busy monkeys, hoping that it will pay off one day. We adopt a passive mindset instead of being actively engaged with our lives. Like developing deeper self-awareness so that your vision of life is more clear. There's also a school of thought that disregards motivation and positions discipline as the real key. Discipline is very powerful, but being intrinsically motivated is even more. And I'll cover this in more detail in another video. But for now, we say people lack motivation. And discipline is what really matters. That motivation comes and goes, it's unreliable. But it's because this motivation is extrinsic and not driven by your purpose. Yes, motivation without discipline leads to nothing being done. But discipline without motivation breeds emptiness, that feeling of being unfulfilled. So you jump to the next thing hoping that it will make you feel better. It's why there are so many perceived to be successful people that are absolutely miserable. They grinded, achieved, but for what? So how can you be more purposeful? The most pragmatic approach that anyone can do is an audit of your time, money, and energy spent. And be honest, you're just doing a disservice to yourself if you're not. For time, ask yourself, where exactly did last week go? Could your time have been better spent, even if you don't know what better looks like? Then for money, ask yourself, did you spend money on things that mattered, or was it just a waste? Did you spend money on things that made your life better, or worse, or no difference at all? Lastly, for energy, ask yourself, how exhausted are you? After work, an activity, or even a social interaction, how are you feeling afterwards? Here's what I've experienced when it comes to energy. Energy spent purposefully rarely leaves you feeling exhausted, even when you're doing twice as much work. Yes, you can get tired, but you can rest and bounce back, instead of experiencing a constant drain. Once you've answered these questions, you can easily see what needs to change. We can cover this as an exercise in another video. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like that. Another more effective but more challenging approach is to develop a deeper self-awareness. Spend time in isolation with your thoughts and ask yourself deep questions. Some may even be very uncomfortable to face. Think about 2 scenarios, your peak and last breath. For peak, meditate on what does your life look like and feel like at its best. Who are you with? What are you doing? For last breath, meditate on your final moments. If you kept living exactly how you are now, what would you be thinking? Would you have any regrets, done anything differently? What advice would you give yourself right now? What would you feel or want to feel? If it isn't warmth, you have an opportunity now to make that change. So if there's one thing to remember, it's this. Busy is doing a lot without any progress. Productive is making progress, but possibly in the wrong direction. Purposeful is being intentional about where you are going and how you are going to get there. Start with a clear vision of your ultimate destination, your true north. Audit whether your time, money, and energy was spent on what mattered or was wasted. And build deeper self-awareness. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and turn the bell notification on so that you don't miss any future uploads. Some may argue that this is way too idealistic and philosophical, that you should just keep grinding and trust that things will fall into place. But for me, that's not just lazy, it's disrespectful to the miracle of your existence. Just think about it. You being born is a 1 in a 400 trillion chance. You only have this life that you experience and somewhat remember. So why live an accidental one? Be productive, yes, but on purpose, with intention. So I'll ask you this again. If your next 40 years looked exactly like your last 4 weeks, how would you feel?